All right, we are live. Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast, episode 11, Wrestlemania Night 2 special. Welcome, everybody. Sorry we are late. Gonzo, welcome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm still recovering from the main event.
Yeah, that main event was nuts, but we will get there. So, real quick before we break down WrestleMania Night 2, once again, I am Marc, Pro Wrestling Kingpin. This is Gonzo. We host the show weekly, every Saturday night for the most part at 9:30 Central Standard Time. What the show's about is a WWE podcast. We break down this past week in wrestling. You could watch it live on Saturday nights on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you guys really want to watch it. And if you guys just like the whole podcast thing, you can find us on Spotify, all right? But here we go. WrestleMania Night 2 started off hot, Gonzo. Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre. Both had epic entrances. What did you think about this match, man?
Braveheart versus Alice in Wonderland. It was a wonderful, wonderful start off to the show. And so this was everything that I was hoping it would be as far as entertainment value goes. And the Claymore to open it off.
Dude.
Could that have just ended it Daniel Bryan style?
Dude, I thought it was. How poetic would that have been? Because he was basically talking shit to Seth the entire time. He's just going to destroy him immediately. And if he would have won right there, I don't know if I would have liked it or if I would have hated it. Probably I would have hated it, but man, nuts. So we all know Drew wins. He retains the championship. And he immediately goes, instead of basking in his win, to go to CM Punk and gloat in his face. Like, what did you feel in that point in time? Like, he just didn't give a fuck. No chill for Drew McIntyre, man.
It was bound to happen, was it not? As far as the gloating, and it cost him in the end, because ultimately I found myself asking, like, well, is CM Punk just gonna, like, what else is he gonna do? Because he caused distraction various times throughout the whole thing. And sure enough, as soon as that arm brace came off and he started whipping the shit out of him with it, I said, Damian Priest, I said, where are you?
Dude, he had to, and here he comes. He cashed in on poor Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, despite his heel work, never really got to hold the World Heavyweight Championship in front of a live crowd because he was a COVID champion. And he gets his WrestleMania moment and he decided to gloat too fucking much. And Damian Priest finally cashes in. How did you feel, dude? Like, were you excited? Were you like, oh no? Did you want it to happen? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I was cheering for it. I was totally loving every second of it. And so, because as he's running down to the ring, obviously his music hits, he looked like Predator. And so all I was looking for was the little arm laser tag that, Predators have. It was a sight to see. And Drew McIntyre has no one to blame but, of course, himself. And the stories that are now going to be told as this continues to move forward are going to be fireworks.
I agree. Real quick before we move on, Terrellism clearly isn't happy. Before I go to bed, I hope y'all happy. LOL. We'll have to suffer Priest versus Bad Bunny at SummerSlam. First of all, Priest deserves to be champion. The guy has been doing the work, the yes man for the WWE. The guy's a beast in the ring. And secondly, don't shit on Bad Bunny. All right? Bad Bunny can go. Arguably one of the greatest entrances of all time at WrestleMania Backlash last year. All right? He's no scrub. So calm down, Terrellism. Calm down. Let's see. Riverdog. I loved every single moment of this WrestleMania. Night 2 was definitely better than Night 1, in my opinion. But I'm glad Damian Priest cashed in. Like I said, I kind of feel bad for Drew McIntyre. I mean, he just had his moment, but at the same time, I mean, I can't wait to see that story because the rage that we're going to get from Drew McIntyre, it is just going to be absolutely amazing because of his heel work. But I screenshotted this. Hopefully you guys could see it. CM Punk got his little payback with this epic little post that he did. You're muted, Gonzo. With this epic little post that he did. So I wanted to share that with you guys.
I said that didn't take him long, did it?
Did not take him long. Let me see. Punk blew a kiss to his wife. Oh, we're gonna get there soon. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So that rivalry is gonna be nuts. But now Drew McIntyre is going to continue to chase, and the hell that he's gonna raise on the Judgment Day. Also, speaking of the Judgment Day, we thought yesterday it seems those are going to be over. Are they over? Are they back united as one? They all came and celebrated with Priest. I expected like Finn Balor to do something at that point. He didn't. They were all in celebration. So is this faction over? Are they going to still be with Priest? What do we think?
Finn Balor doing something immediately is too soon. You're going to have a lot of storytelling, and there's going to be
Agreed.
something beautiful to see as the months go by and the deterioration of the group commences.
Agreed. All right. Moving on, we got the Final Testament versus the Pride. I guess that's what that faction's called, apparently. Yeah. In a Philly street fight with Bubba Ray Dudley as the special ref. How amazing was that to see?
I popped. It was fantastic. And that still wasn't the worst match the entire night. It goes back to day one, Jade Cargill as being the worst match out of the entire 2-day event.
You're about to trigger Terrellism.
That's fine, because this match, actually, the Philadelphia street fight, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Snoop Dogg on commentary was great. Obviously,
that guy was high. He was so high.
He was drunk. He was drunk and high.
Bro, that guy. But yeah, dude, it was awesome. I mean, the different things that we saw in that match, you know, the Pride or whatever you want to call that little Bobby Lashley faction hit the what's up with, you know, Bubba Ray Dudley. The get the table chant was like the loudest the crowd has been in 2 days. They were actually woke up at that point. That was good to see. The cheap ass table spot where it broke literally immediately and they had to get another one. Even that got a pop from the crowd. So that was cool. The one thing I did notice, though, obviously we know the Pride or the Bobby Lashley faction, whatever you want to call them, got the dub, but the Final Testament continues taking L's. So I just want to note that. So we'll see. We're not going to talk about it today unless David has something he wants to say, but that whole faction continues taking L's. So we're going to have to see what goes on with them this week. Well, you have something you want to add?
Well, the big thing for those who didn't watch Mania, and again, if you're logging in to listen to us, I just wanted to say thank you as we break down the card. The important thing to make mention of is that majority of this is Cross is the one that is usually getting pinned or somehow the one that is being manhandled. Yes, I understand the Street Profits were able to beat the Final Testament, or excuse me, what AOP.
AOP. It's still the Final Testament.
Yeah, but again, this is important, right? Because those guys are actually still being very much so protected because they're the ones that are not getting pinned. They're the ones that are not going through tables. They're the ones that are not getting beat to crap with kendo sticks. It's Cross and his girl. So, yes, they're part of the faction. I get that, but I just wanted to make that clear as well.
Okay. All right. United States title match. Logan Paul defending against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Paul enters on a damn prime like monster truck. I thought that was pretty cool. And Owens and Orton team up early in that match. I mean, is this what you expected? Did you like the match overall? What do you think?
It was much better than the Elimination Chamber, where Logan Paul stood there for 56 minutes as he held the brass knuckles in his hand, waiting for Randy Orton to sell his back injury. So,
no, right.
This was much better.
For sure. So, what's next for Logan Paul now?
As far as, didn't I say that Logan would retain? I think we all did, didn't we?
We all did. He was not losing. He was not losing whatsoever.
Yeah. That is 100% correct. Well, I mean, the good thing is you have a new faction that's going to form. Obviously, you have A-Town Down Under, and now you also have Logan Paul. They all have gold at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see some pretty entertaining commentary. We're going to see some pretty entertaining factions doing some dirty heel tactics. And so this will be pretty entertaining moving forward.
So what was your favorite part of the match?
My favorite part of the match, honestly, is probably the golf cart entrance, if I had to be.
Not even the actual match itself. Are you kidding me?
That put me in a good mood. I mean, the fact that Kevin Owens was able to pick up Randy. I will say the pop-up powerbomb spot where Randy turned that into the RKO.
Yeah, there you go.
That was actually really, really cool to see. And from there, it was the super lowdown that Logan Paul was able to throw down. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, actually.
To win the match, yeah.
To win the match, yeah.
That was a great frog splash. I loved the part where Logan Paul did a swanton and immediately transitioned to a standing frog splash. I thought that was pretty sick. And say what you want about Logan Paul, the guy can go in the ring. I mean, you may not like him. He's made for this business, and I love seeing it. Another great spot was Kevin Owens' moonsault. That big boy can fly. That was amazing. Muffin Man says, dude is athletic as fuck. I assume that's Logan that he's talking about. But yeah, he is, man. The guy's made for the business. I'm really excited. Gonzo, do you have anything you want to add to this match? Or
It was definitely a spectacle, and it was very good to see. And I think night two did not have as many matches, right, as night one. Night one had much more, but night two had
they had less matches because the main event had to take an hour.
That's fine. Duration is what quality and duration was really nice. But no, the Logan Paul triple threat match actually was really nice to see.
The Logan Paul triple threat match was meant for him to succeed with the opponents that were thrown in front of him. If you notice, all of his bookings, all of his matches that Logan Paul has done is meant with people that have been doing it and been doing that craft for a long time that could able to carry him through a match as he's still learning on the job. Essentially, he's doing on the job training, doing title defenses and title matches with Roman and freaking Crown Jewel. This is all just him literally on the job training. So pretty solid for him, and I'm actually really enjoying Logan Paul. Can't wait for his brother to join. So we'll see what happens there. WrestleMania Night 1 is the worst WrestleMania. Night 2 is the best WrestleMania. I assume you're saying that you liked it better than yesterday, or are you just saying
yes?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Night one and me just
everyone's
night one was not
great. I wouldn't say it was not great. I enjoyed the show. It was really good. Is it a 10 out of 10 show? Absolutely not. But it wasn't a terrible show either. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So but we're on night 2. Moving on to Io Sky versus Bayley. Io Sky defending the championship. I'm a little disappointed I did not get Hugger Bayley.
You got Apocalypse Bayley.
I don't care. I wanted Hugger Bayley. It really pissed me off. I was not happy, but that was obviously with the exception of the main event. I thought this match was fantastic. And Michael Sandoval, State Bayley, and Sky looked like they were struggling to get into a flow with each other. I don't know. I kind of disagree. This was my favorite match leading up to the main event. I thought they stole the show. It ended great.
Because Mr. Sandoval, if you could give some additional spots where you thought that they were struggling, I would love to hear that. Because for me, that match to me flowed rather nicely. Because we did a lot of coverage yesterday of watching, I think, 7.5 hours worth of wrestling. And what we spent a lot of time on, Mike, I'm not sure if you had the chance to watch NXT Stand and Deliver. The Trick Mello and Carmelo Hayes match was a good example of just their chemistry was completely off. And we went into some really good depth on that one because for guys that have been doing it for as long as they were, and then we even talked about Jey Uso and Jimmy going at it too. That was a very lackluster match where it didn't seem like they were firing on all cylinders. This match with Io and Bayley, I don't know. And like I said, if you can provide some additional comments as to where you thought it would, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, but, so would I, Mike. But Gonzo, I'm really glad that you brought those specific matches to light in regards to Jey Uso fighting his brother and then Trick Mello, because all of these rivalries with the inclusion of Io Sky and Bayley, they were all supposed to be really personal matches that were supposed to tell a story. And the only match of those three that actually told a story that got personal was Bayley versus Io. With the slaps and, I was your friend, you were never my friend, and the crowd just erupting. You could tell how personal that was, which ultimately really gave them good chemistry in the ring. Mike Sandoval got a comment here. I don't know if Bayley legit tweaked her knee, but I think they dragged that out a little bit. It's all part of the storytelling. In my opinion, maybe you could be onto something. I don't know. But she was out for 1.5 years with that knee.
So if you remember, Mark, it was early on in the match where Bayley ended up kicking her feet up, but it was only the one leg that ended up staying up. And
I did notice
ended up smashing into it.
Yeah.
I would probably like to say that might have been the spot where something potentially was tweaked. And yes, there's some selling in there, of course, too, but that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Definitely could see you guys' points on that one. But she looked completely fine when she did that elbow drop. She launched out. I mean, she was selling.
She had the adrenaline rushing through her.
She had the adrenaline rushing through her, but I mean, she launched off the top rope with zero problems. And yes, she was favoring that knee, but like I said, it's all storytelling. It's an all full circle moment because Bayley was gone for such a long time with that knee injury. She was gone for a year and a half, and then they came back at SummerSlam. You and I were there when Damage Control was actually formed. So I think that was all just plays a part in that storytelling that came full circle, which ultimately, in my opinion, made the match that much better. Io Sky's moonsault on the outside was sick.
Someone told me, I don't know if you caught it, and maybe it was me just losing my mind slightly. Didn't Io Sky throw on the Banks effect or whatever that Sasha Banks?
Yeah, the bank statement.
The bank statement. Didn't she use that in this match?
It looked like she did, or some type of variation of it. I wouldn't say it was a complete bank statement, but definitely, I feel like she definitely did try that type of spot. It was definitely noticed. But like I said, I mean, there were so many good spots in this match. I mean, with all the matches that we saw prior to that one, this was my favorite match leading up to everything that we saw night 2. I mean, probably even night 1. And even Gonzo and I were texting, throughout the night, and he was even saying it was rivaling the Sami Zayn Intercontinental title win.
I think it was better. That's just me.
So, but both told good stories. That's ultimately what you want in those matches. Something that was not really told in the Uso matches, and the Trick Williams and Stand and Deliver. And then we got Gustavo out here saying these guys just talking smack. Well, that's what the name of the show is, my guy. So, Snoop didn't know where he was. Let's get to these comments. That's correct. He did not. He was high as a kite. And same with Lil Wayne last night.
Lil Wayne needs to go
for
away.
sure.
That dude is way past his prime, and unfortunately, I remember Wayne in 2008 as actually being. Oh God, I don't want to talk about it. It makes me upset. But I will bring this up because I think we overlooked the LA Knight and AJ Styles match.
Yeah, we're gonna get there right now. I already noticed it. So, but yeah, so the LA Knight versus AJ Styles match. What did you think of the match? LA Knight won. I didn't think he was going to win, but he did. You predicted it correct.
I did. Fun fact is that AJ Styles has not won a pay-per-view match since 2022.
It's only 2 years.
It's not a long time.
It's not that long.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I mean, everyone can't be Roman Reigns here.
I thought you were about to be like, yeah, he hasn't won a match since like 2018. I mean, this is 2 years ago, bro. Like, I mean,
the man changed his music. He actually changed his pants. They're actually athletic pants instead of the jorts that he's been wearing. So the match, actually, I wanted to see that match. I really did.
So did you like it? I mean, this match felt personal as well. Another match that told the story, another match that told better stories than other matches that I expected to outshine this match. They had good build-up going into this match, which was kind of surprising because of how quickly it came together. I mean, I think it was put together like 2 weeks ago officially.
AJ Styles versus
for it to get so personal. You knew it was coming, but I mean, they didn't start promoting this match till 2 weeks ago, bro. Like,
I don't think they had to, because again, I had been talking about it. I even said when it was in Chamber season that AJ Styles was going to fly all the way to Perth, Australia, and cost him, and sure enough, he did.
He did. That was a good call. Favorite part of this match?
Man, I'm trying to think. It was very clean. The match in itself was very smooth and very clean. It's not like I had like one specific spot, but the one that stands out to me, I always get real nervous, is the one where, this is how the match ended, was we was going for the phenomenal forearm, and then LA Knight knocked out his feet, and he ended up falling feet and ended up hitting his face or his throat on the rope, and that's what led to him doing his finisher, to count the 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Spots like that, I always get really concerned because if you lose your balance, I mean, you're pretty screwed.
For me, the reason why I kind of even skipped over it because the match wasn't there for me. The match was decent for what it was. Like I said, the story was told, but there was nothing where it was like, okay, this is a WrestleMania type moment for either of them. It was kind of like a filler type match. I'm not saying the match was bad. I enjoyed the match. It told the correct story, what it was supposed to do, and I don't think it's over. I think this feud still carries over because AJ Styles is not going to take this loss lightly. So I believe we'll get this match in France for WrestleMania Backlash again. But like I said, I mean, it wasn't something that really stole the show. It was something where I was like, oh man, that spot was great, or something I could recall. You know, LA Knight got his first dub at WrestleMania as he should. I didn't think he was going to win, like I said. The crowd was behind him. It was great to hear the LA Knight. He woke him up again because this Philly crowd is kind of dull. But other than that, I mean, it just wasn't there for me.
I think what's important is there were no gimmicks. There was no Team 3D coming. There were no tables. There were no chairs that needed to go above and beyond. And it was refreshing to see, because we all know that AJ Styles at one point in the world was considered arguably the best technical wrestler, performer. And he hasn't really lost a step. He still looks, again, uses catchphrase, phenomenal. But again, LA Knight has been catching fire for the last 2 years. And for him to still go toe-to-toe with a tremendous performer, to where I don't believe AJ had to slow himself down. Like a good example would be Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, where Rhea Ripley had to completely just not be herself.
Are you talking about in Perth? Don't start this argument again, because that was a good-ass match. Everyone hated you for that take.
What take? Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley could not do
that was a
everything
great
that she's
match.
supposed to do.
That was a great match.
I mean, it was okay. But the reality is that Rhea literally had to change everything that she does in order to adapt to a lesser performer. LA Knight and AJ Styles in this match, they didn't need to do that. Both men were complemented very nicely, and it didn't necessarily take away from each of the other's strong points. I mean, that's just my overall take.
They underwhelmed. You're right. It didn't have any type of gimmick. It didn't need a gimmick. You could have had a straight wrestling match. I mean, you got Roxanne Perez and Valkyria just going at it. There was no gimmick in that match. It was just a championship match. That was a great technical match. This match underwhelmed. I mean, it told a story, which it did its job. It was a filler in between of everything else that was going on, but underwhelmed at the end, my opinion. So how dare you compare that to Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax? So, but that's me. All right, let's get what everyone wants to talk about, unless you have anything else you want to say on this match.
Let's take a second and just really give flowers to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, Corey Graves for having to reset up their table at least 8 different times throughout the entire night 2 of WrestleMania. Well, everyone kept going to that poor table, and then the same with the Spanish announce table. I have not seen tables like that be used so much and so frequently.
That's why they use those fall away tables, man. You put it back together in 2 seconds. So thought you were gonna tell them they did a great job selling everything, which they did.
It's main event time.
Okay, main event time. Undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship. A new era has begun. Cody Rhodes has won. What did you like about this match? Did you hate anything from this match?
I remember listening to your bad booking last year for WrestleMania and how upset you were that this was going to be the end of Cody Rhodes and that WWE missed their opportunity with him. And now we fast forward a year later. This match took me on a roller coaster that I thoroughly just loved and enjoyed. The fact that John Cena was another Avenger that was brought out. And of course, you had the Dead Man as the final Avenger to come to then set the tone and set everything into motion. It was just one breathtaking thing after another. The fact that Seth Rollins came out in Shield gear and you heard the music play.
What's up, Raz? Go on.
There was nonstop chaos, one after another. And that's what I was wanting to see, was just the ridiculous buildup to how everything was going to come full circle. And the storytelling of The Undertaker showing up, having ties to being retired by Roman Reigns. You have John Cena that, of course, has direct correlation with the double main events that both those gentlemen had done all those years ago with the Fruity Pebble Wars going back and forth and knees to faces and boots to ass. all the storytelling, because again, that was a big thing that me, you, and Angel had talked about even yesterday. And then the show last week is, well, who's going to show up for Cody? And I just kept naming off random people left and right. And so who would have thought that Cena and then also The Undertaker would have shown up?
I kind of thought Cena would, but I did not expect the Undertaker. That one, I was shook when I heard the bells, dude. I was like, "What?" Like that was nuts. That actually really got me popped. Like I was like, "Holy shit!" Right there. I loved everything about this. I mean, the video package to start it was dope, showing both their roads. Get it? See what it is there? No, all right. Show roads to this championship match. Notably, the Bucks were in that video package. That was kind of weird. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Some AEW stuff, absolutely.
Some AEW stuff was in there. It was an epic entrance from Roman. I thought that was sick with the orchestra. Like, made this really feel like a big time match, no matter what. Roman shit talking Cody Rhodes throughout this entire match, saying he's gonna send them back to Hollywood like the rest of them. I thought that was really dope. So many different spots in here, dude. Roman hitting the crossroads on him, thought he was going to win it with that. That would have been freaking amazing. I did want to mention this. You remember SmackDown 2 back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Arguably the greatest wrestling game of all time.
It is. I really felt like they just gave each other all the finishers to start, and that's just what we're getting to start the match.
Oh, five specials right from the get-go.
5 specials right. I was like, what the hell is going on? There's just so many different things here. Let's get to these comments real quick. I knew Cena would, but went nuts with Undertaker. Yeah, me too, dude. I wish they would have maybe brought one more person out to continue the roller coaster, and had Paul Heyman interfere for a final interference. Would have liked them to bring in a legend to finish Heyman as well. No one wins with that move.
Crossroads, yeah.
I mean, whatever. I thought what we got was pretty dope. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get Goldust. He was there. Not even for the
deal with AEW.
And probably not, because Tony Khan is a little asshole, but who knows what happened there. We'll never know any particulars. I really thought they got it because they got video package for Sting's retirement, and I thought it was happening. It was a done deal. So I don't know. They didn't even let him come out to celebrate with him. I at least would have just liked him to be him with his family. That would have been dope too. But it is what it is. I do want to highlight this. Want to talk about this. Seth Rollins coming out as the Shield, even though he got annihilated earlier by Drew, was epic, which also came full circle.
Oh, yeah. The spot of where his back is turned and he gets nailed with the chair.
With the chair. So instead of Roman Reigns, this was essentially the downfall. Instead of ending Cody, it still sits in his mind that Seth turned on them 2015, in 2015, 2016-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit the architect instead of the person he should have hit, which I thought that was
poetic.
Phenomenal poetic storytelling. Like, you could not just draw that up better. Let's see what else.
There was 12 years worth of storytelling in this WrestleMania.
Yes, so much. Let's take this ride real quick. So we had Jimmy Uso was the first to get involved. Jay follows. Jimmy gets speared off the stage by his brother, which ultimately was the best spot for them this entire weekend because their match was trash. Solo delivered a Samoan spike to Cody after Cody was about to give him a third crossroads. Cena got involved, giving an AA to Roman, then threw Solo through a table with an AA as well. Rock enters.
There's connection there because Solo has had the one-on-one with Cena. So again, that worked because of the history that the two have had.
Exactly, dude. It's just like, I mean, I'm never for, I'm not gonna say never for. I'm not really in favor of the match that we got for the main event, just because I would rather have Cody just win clean, 1, 2, 3, nothing else. But the storytelling that was involved in this whole bloodline rules and everyone that they use, it was poetic. It was definitely cinema, Derek. That's right. Yeah, good comment right there. It was definitely cinema. I mean, it was nuts. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Let's see what else are these comments. SmackDown will be here June 21st. We're going. See you there. We already got tickets. What is this? Cracks in the armor between Roman and Solo. Definitely. That's another thing I kind of want to get that beginning of the end of the bloodline. Is it though? Is the bloodline over? We know Roman Reigns is leaving for a little bit, but the bloodline's still there. You got 3 bloodline members that still, I mean, 2. I mean, if you count Jay, he's a 3rd. But there's rumors they signed more. So could someone else leave? The Rock could still be there for the time being. I mean, what do you think, Gonzo?
The corporate bloodline will make its reemergence.
I think the bloodline is one of those factions that you just don't break up. They can go away. You can have them off TV for a year, whatever you want to do. But I don't think they'll ever have a breakup, especially because that family's so fucking huge.
Well, the reality is, again, like 7.5 hours worth of wrestling just wasn't enough for me. I decided to listen to more wrestling as soon as wrestling came to a close last night, coming into today, and listening to Triple H give their post interviews during their media scrums. They had the opportunity to, of course, talk with The Rock. He gave his feedback, and I can't even remember throughout all the video content that I've watched, but The Rock literally said that this is only the beginning of what stories that they plan on telling. People asked The Rock straight up, so are you going to still be involved moving forward? And very quickly, with his charm, he smiled, and essentially he's like, well, can't answer that. So he's not going anywhere, I don't think, anytime soon. And
he ain't going anywhere. He's on the board of directors. He ain't doing any movies right now. He's here for the long haul. I think
Absolutely.
Rock's back. I think Rock's back in full WWE form. You might not see him every single week, but he'll be there more often than not, in my opinion. But who knows? Dave and I could be talking out of our ass, and he'll announce a movie tomorrow. You know, who fucking knows? But let's see. Endgame was great tonight. Hopefully, the next phase isn't as bad as the next Marvel phase.
Speak. Absolutely.
Spear must be repaid. Okay. From night 1. Who do you think is Cody's first defense? That's a good question. Who do you think is Cody's first defense?
Gosh, I mean,
Gunther.
You're gonna bury him just like that?
I mean, just because you lose a title match, you don't get buried. Look at fucking Cody.
That's not what you were saying a year ago, unfortunately.
That is not. First of all, you want to go back to a year. Maybe if you'd watch that entire episode, I said we're doing a trilogy. Meaning, spoiler alert, the story ain't over, guys. You're getting Roman and Cody next year again for the rubber match. Why? Because Cody loves his trilogies, and I've been saying that for a year. Tell this guy to watch my shows. I think Gunther. But who knows, man. I saw this tweet before we, get out of here. I saw this tweet, and this is kind of what people were saying last year if Cody wins. Obviously, heels are always better. All right. Heels are more interesting. They have more longevity. But I saw this tweet today, and it said, how long, unfortunately, until the crowd turns on Cody? Because he's the ultimate Cena face now. This is the guy, he never wants to turn heel. He's already been saying it forever. He doesn't want to be a heel character. How long until they turn on Cody?
I'm not living in that reality. I'm enjoying tonight for what it is.
Thank you. Great answer. I love that. But yeah, I don't know as far as going back to Mike Sandoval's question. I don't know who he is. I think I would guess Gunther because I feel like Sami Zayn and Chad Gable are going to go right into a feud for the IC championship. Gunther, I think it's time to elevate him a little bit, get him in the main title picture, whether it be Cody Rhodes or wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me backtrack. Damian Priest is World Heavyweight Champion. Damian Priest is World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
He's on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Cody's now the SmackDown champion.
That's right.
So it can't be Gunther.
But again, WWE doesn't really pay attention to all those wonderful things.
Agreed. You took the words right out of my freaking mouth. But technically
Yeah, technically. These are all technicalities.
Technically would have to be a SmackDown person. There's no Elimination Chamber, no Royal Rumble right now.
You're not going to see Cody defend that title probably. What's the next pay-per-view that's
They're
coming up
going to
then?
France in 3 weeks. He has to defend it in France.
Probably like a one-of, possibly. Probably solo, maybe.
Maybe. Interesting. All right. Well, favorite part of this match before we end it?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, my favorite part, honestly, John Cena's music hitting, because the second that Cena's music hit, that just meant it opened the door for someone bigger, someone that has even more clout to come in. And that really hyped me up. So I will say that because it was the domino that ended up just giving me this euphoria that I ultimately have yet to come down from.
A favorite part for me in match, when the bells hit for Undertaker.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, it's just this reality that at that moment, anything could happen.
That was absolutely nuts.
I was waiting for Stone Cold, to be truthful with you. I was waiting for the glass to shatter, and all of a sudden, and instead, we got the gongs hitting instead. So,
yeah. And then the last thing that I liked was not even a match. It was the end of the show, him calling out Triple H and him
Bruce
and Triple
Pritchard.
H and Bruce Pritchard, but more so Triple H. That's the one that I liked. Him hugging and Triple H talking to him, basically giving him that stamp of approval. When they lifted up Cody, I was just waiting for Triple H to just be like, but that stamp of approval, I mean, especially because Cody started a whole promotion and, took a sledgehammer to a mock throne of his logo, so bygones be bygones, right? So we'll see with that. Last question for you. Oh, do you have anything you want to add before I get to that last question?
This was everything that 1997 Starrcade wasn't.
Oh my God.
Think about it. It was NWO versus WCW. It's Bloodline versus the WWE. Ultimately, the good guys then pushed, and as we know, we did not get that with Sting versus Hogan all those years ago. But when Sting wins, he gets lifted up on shoulders. They're all parading around. They're coming out to celebrate. It was a significant event, at least for WCW versus, again, the NWO. And yet, this is what I compare it to. So I was, again, very much thrilled with the cinema because ultimately the story had been there for, 12 years in the making. So it was wonderful to definitely see.
All right. So last question. Basically, the night after WrestleMania essentially starts a new season, new era. So the most important Raw of the year is tomorrow. Predictions?
Yes, you are going to see a certain Rotunda come out of the shadows to reclaim and take over as the next face of fear as he continues to move forward. For those of you who have no idea what I'm referring to, this is the baby brother to Wyndham Rotunda. And for those of you also that missed the episode that I had talked about where Dreadmare is a YouTube channel that Bo Dallas, for those of you who are familiar with the younger brother of Bray Wyatt, he has taken on the moniker of Uncle Howdy, and Uncle Howdy has now transformed into something even darker to where the documentary had come out, I think, about a week ago, and the documentary, spoiler alert, had ended with all of a sudden this very dark, ominous-looking character. And it was in the most recent YouTube video that Dreadmare had put out, they were referencing the solar eclipse that will be happening this upcoming Monday. So I am all in to see the continuation of the Wyatt legacy. I love Bray Wyatt and everything that he had talked about and everything that he had done performance-wise. And so that is what I am hyped for, to be truthful with you.
You pretty much took my take. But great take. I'm not going to really much add to anything. I think tomorrow that's going to be the highlight of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, we'll get Cody opening the show, getting his championship ceremony. But ultimately, I think Cody's going to be on Saturdays or Fridays. So we'll see. But definitely, I think it's time for, the brother to come and take over the legacy. So that's definitely what it's going to be. You got a question? How much longer until Jimmy comes over to Cody's side? Never.
Never.
Never. I don't think he'll come to Cody's side. He'll come and try to reconcile with his brother, but I don't think he'll be on Cody's side per se. You?
He's kind of like an anti-hero right now. He kind of
Yeah.
just walks his own path, and
Yeah.
he'll continue to try and push to really mend that relationship with his brother.
Cool. All right. Well, if you have nothing else, Gonzo, that is it. Do you have anything else you want to add for WrestleMania overall?
I'm gonna go back and just rewatch the highlights of it. I especially just want to watch The Rock come out and lose his mind on John Cena, and that was hysterical, equivalent to when he was starting to scream at the referee last night.
Stupid. All right. Well, thank you guys. We had 2 episodes this week of the Smacktalk Wrestling podcast. Come with us next week, Saturday, most likely, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll break down this past week in WWE. Until then, a new era has begun. The reign of terror is over. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys go follow us on all social medias, Raising Personalities for Gonzo, Pro Wrestling Kingpin for myself. Peace out, hombres.